Ramirez, your host of Stand Out and Grow. I want to help your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Building your business is really, really hard. And knowing what marketing and advertising tools you need to help you become successful is extremely confusing. After 30 years of working with thousands of businesses, I am here to help you make good business decisions. I want to help you understand the programs that are available to you so that you can stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. So let's get started. Hi there. This is Kat Ramirez. I am CEO and founder of adBidtise and #SocialBuzz. And today I have a very, very special guest, and appropriately enough, because we have been talking about like bad news and pandemic and rioting. So what a great time for me to bring on Micheal Ray, who is CEO and founder of the Smile Project in Louisville. So let me bring him on board. Hey, how are you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing, huh?
I am doing great. And I'm so glad to have you on our show. And
well, thanks for having me, right? I mean, hey, look, it takes you to make it happen.
Yes.
That you reached out.
Exactly. But you're the one that's doing all the awesome things. So before we get into this, Micheal, tell us a little bit about the project and that you have, the Smile Project.
Yeah, so what's interesting though, when you talk about the word project, a lot of people sometimes have this thing where they think about there's a finality. And of course, I just said off camera to you, you never realize sometimes how big something will get. But when I started about a little over 2 years ago, and then I did the work for about 2 months without a name, and it was like, well, what are we going to call this thing? And then I had project, but I debated on it because it's like, well, there's no finality. It's not like there's a start and end date to it, like most projects that we do and we complete in our lives. So, for me, it was really all about spreading love through the power of a smile, that you could be so happy that when others would see you, they could become happy too. So I started taking pictures with random, strangers, posting them on social media. And really, I would tell the strangers that I was trying to, again, spread love and change attitudes and behaviors of everybody. And then lo and behold, I end up, trying to find ways to be more creative, to make people smile. And I'm like, well, why are we not doing random acts of kindness?
Right.
So about a year ago is when I kind of shifted part of my energy into what I was doing in my movement and started doing random acts of kindness to make strangers smile, and then videoing it to just, again, touch the hearts and lives of others, to try to get them to act upon what we do.
So you started this foundation, this movement. I like to say
and that's really what it is.
Yeah, because of you have your daughter, right? Is it a lot of it because she is nonverbal, right? She has Down syndrome, and I saw the video on how you explained that. And it was so touching. But for anybody who hasn't seen that video, do you want to kind of like touch base on that?
So as in anything in life, a lot of times when people want to create change, or I say as I really evolved as a father and a human being, first and foremost, it was the imprint that my daughter was making in my life. And, I tell any parent out there, it's the simplicity of when you don't hear those simple 3 words we always want to hear from our children. And that's, I love you. But when you are nonverbal, I guess it rips a piece of your heart out. But I really found a way to love and appreciate how my daughter spoke to me in a totally different language. And for me, where I evolved was the smile. The fact that, she lives life so simple,
right?
And yet no matter where I was in life, as I was going through what I call the shit storm and the challenges, and we all face them in different forms of fashion, the constant that was always there for me was my daughter, Maddie.
Right.
I mean, and no matter where I was sitting on the couch doing what we do at night and just chilling, watching TV or reading, and I look over and she's just smiling at me. And it's like, God put this thing in my life to really, a lot of times if you want to evolve, you got to do it, So for me, it was her. Never thinking, again, it was kind of the other component. And that was where I still was in my life and just rolling through a drive-through.
Right.
And that's when it was my God moment in which I really felt at that moment that he was speaking to me in which, wow, okay, it's the power of a smile, but then it's also that interaction that we had with a stranger who smiled and cheered me up in those short few seconds we spend when we roll through the drive-through, And it was like, wow, well, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was kind of the infancy of where it began. But again, it's the power of one. You then go, okay, well, God spoke to me. My daughter's been in my life. I've evolved. Well, what the hell are you going to do with it?
Right.
At that point.
Yeah. And that makes total sense to me. And, my whole thing is I feel like smiling, being kind to people is infectious. It's very contagious. People typically, like I'm a sales manager by trade. Like if I, smile at someone and I'm talking to them, they're only going to smile back to me when they talk back to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what you put out there. If I'm angry and talking to someone, then they're going to be a little upset too, not knowing why,
You said all the right words. And obviously what really comes to people's minds is how infectious and contagious it is. And, I'm about 86 times over the top than the normal human being, because a lot of times it's not just the smile, it's what's up. It's just, and then all of a sudden there's a chuckle. And then there's either, one of Maddie's signature moves is a fist bump. So I'm giving fist bumps, high fives, just asking somebody,
right?
How are you? Again, I do random acts of kindness and I give away things, but it's not about that. Smiles and kindness are free. We go about our daily lives and it all costs nothing, again, sometimes to change the trajectory of someone's morning, day, where they are in their life.
Yes, I agree. And the other cool thing that you just mentioned, and I've seen you do this, is you don't know if someone's having a bad day. You don't know if someone is on the verge of something very dire. We don't know. And so when we do walk around our neighborhoods, our community, and we're smiling and we're able to, at least, the very least, it doesn't cost a dime, offer a kind smile. There's no handshaking with a smile. There's no, because we have this distant, social distancing. There's no involvement.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw a meme about a month ago, and it was somebody had shared it with me because, of course, they know, what I'm doing, and I get referred to now as being the smile guy. But it was like a smile, a hug from 6 feet away.
Right.
And it is, a smile. It is that warm sign of telling another human being on some level, I love you.
Right.
It is that simple. And it is. And for me, when I backed up to that drive-through at Wendy's, I was having a horrible morning. We all have them in some form or fashion. Again, whatever, I always call it the shitstorm you're going through, but it was what happened to me. So when you roll into Starbucks and you encounter the barista, or it's somebody with road rage behind you, or you're in the grocery store, we don't know what someone is carrying on their heart.
That's right.
And they may have just found out yesterday that their mom has breast cancer and they're trying to process it. And you know what? Maybe they're being a little bit of an ass, but that's not who they are. But in that moment, you can create something so special with a smile.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm just going to add to that, Michael, because I'm here. I'm probably could be the poster child for smiling.
I already feel it.
You can also smile via
telephone. And I say this because, I all too many times we call people only when we really, really need help. And when I say people, customer service rep, your account person, whatever.
Yes.
And that person's going to make or break your day by the way they answer the phone. And I'll use a great example. I called, my boyfriend and I go golfing, and I called a golf place, and the lady answers. She goes, whatever her dialogue was, how can I help you? I could tell she was angry.
Oh yeah.
And then I said, hey, I want to book a time to golf. I'm happy. Hey, I want to book a time. She paused for the longest moment, did not say anything. And I'm like, are you pissed that I called? This is your job.
Yeah.
And then she came back on and she goes, we're closed. And so I was like, just from that conversation alone, I could tell she was not happy or smiling, because you can tell when someone's smiling on a phone.
How you can. And you know what one of, things that I've seen before, I used to be in sales, especially when you work in call centers and customer service, one of the greatest simple things you can do is put that mirror in front of you when you talk, because you see yourself. You see yourself, how you're interacting. And trust me, people can feel it through the phone. It's funny because why I love the iPhone, and when people connect with me, sometimes I try to take it a step further when I engage with people. And if I know they have an iPhone, they lose their mind because I FaceTime them.
Yeah.
I FaceTime them because I want to see you. And that's the beauty, again, of having those interactions when you can actually see a human being and how they react to what you're saying, what they're feeling. That's beautiful.
I think so too. And I would absolutely agree. And now let's talk about, I watched a video where you walked up to a gentleman and he walked into the grocery store and you presented some money to him. Now tell me about that. What part of
was that last week?
Yeah, I saw that on your
Facebook. You know what I want people to know is about 90% of the time we know who we're going for. And the reason being is because when this really took off and created a movement and we videoed, people started reaching out and we're like, hey, so-and-so is going through this, but it's so positive and still trying to love and make an impact. So again, 90% of the time we know, but last Thursday we didn't know.
Right.
So it's one of those things, you try to put yourself in the right environment. I happened to be with another gentleman by the name of Chance, who is in the western part of the city, which unfortunately is more impacted by what's going on. And then I had a Catholic priest, my brother, Father Chris Rhodes. So we all came together and we were sitting there and we were just led by love and God, and going in that moment going, all right, who are we going to try to bless right now? Mm-hmm. So what was amazing about what transpired there is that we only went, or in my heart, I only thought we went to actually do one. And what transpired is that there were 3 random acts of kindness in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And the gentleman that walked up, we had about 4 or 5 people walk up first, and then James walked up, and we were caught by, he had like an emoji with hearts as eyes and a mask over it. And it was just like, and then he looked at us smiling, and he had like no teeth. Oh. But a man who's willing to smile with no teeth, it was like, that's our guy. That's our guy right there. So, of course, at first he's like, why me? So you go through that. And then I end up doing the random act of kindness, not even knowing that Chance didn't tell me, pulled something out and gave something more to him. And then I don't even know if most people caught this, but about 3/4 of the way in, I had a single mother walk up to me, and I actually turned around and she said, would you be so kind to help me and my 3 kids?
Oh.
And, one thing that people have figured out about me is that one of my biggest weaknesses is I just can't say no.
Right.
And a lot of things I do. So I just thought it was an amazing moment in what we were doing, most people didn't even realize. And that's okay. Again, it's not about that, but something happened within the moment. But
Right.
then, of course, what you find out when the camera stops rolling is you have all these other side moments in which James was like, damn it, I wish you fellas would have told me I was going to be smiling. I would have brought my teeth.
Yeah, that's funny. That's
And
funny.
he then says I had to ride the bus to get over here. And, you never have enough money when you do these things. And then it's like, then here you guys are.
Right.
And then that's when you really know in your heart that you found the right person in that moment to love.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, that was it. That is a great story. That is great. But you have lots of them like that. And then the other thing is, I know you've been featured on major media, because I saw one of the interviews from your local TV station, right? Where
I've been on 3 local TV stations, and it's funny because I was over a year into what I was doing. But again, that's what people need to know is that if you want to create change, just do the work.
Right.
Just do the work. And look, one of the other things that I don't talk about a whole lot with my daughter outside of the smile is that I used to probably be one of the most, and I'm speaking to people out there, one of the most impatient human beings on the planet. Gratification couldn't come soon enough. But yet she has taught me to really value, to wait for the good, to wait for it. It's okay if the process and things take time. Just continue to be selfless, to love, to do it, no matter what you do in life, whether that's personal or professional here.
Yeah.
Because again, smiling is everywhere. I don't care if you're in the office, if you're trying to sell somebody, customer service, no matter what you do, it's universal.
Yes, I agree. Anybody can speak that language.
You can speak that language. And that's the beauty of it is that if I could choose to get on an airplane and go to Mexico and my Spanish is brutal, but I can communicate because, again, you break down all barriers immediately.
Right.
By just smiling.
I would 100% agree. Okay, so how does your foundation exist? You have to have money, right?
So up until last fall, it was all generated by me. But of course, when you create such good, then it's almost just a simplicity of paying it forward. So when people would watch it, they started going, oh God, how can I get involved? I saw you go do James. Can I send you $50 to figure out who to go send it to? And that's really where most of it is it's through the generosity of others that their hearts have been touched, that in some form or fashion, they want to be involved, to continue to see it. I'm in the process of trying to continue to create something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And that is, and this is the power of LinkedIn, people. If you put it out there and you're willing to create massive change and engage with the people who love you, that's the beauty of it. And the amazing relationships that I have built with so many awesome people around this country and honestly, globally. Yeah. It's still, and a lot of what I tell people is that's really up to this point how I've been compensated. And at times, and we all have these moments, when you want to give up and then you get that awesome private message, it's like, bullshit, I ain't giving up, man. There's no way, you have to keep doing it. So I guess my point with all of that is I am going to try to put something together to put myself out there. And we talked about this off camera, beyond Louisville.
Yeah.
And that is start to move around the U.S. and go visit people and take what we have kind of built here and go into their communities to try to create a culture of change too. Right. So we're having active dialogue on how that may look. And again, all of that really has been formed by the beautiful relationships if you choose to do it on LinkedIn. It's amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to do this because, Micheal, you don't realize that right now you're on 5 streams. So we're actually on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a couple of Facebook pages and groups. So just so you know, because I don't want to,
I
don't want to eliminate
honest, you know,
the people that are watching on other streams. You know, it's social media.
When I talk about it, there are moments, and I had one this morning.
Yeah.
And when I woke up at 7 o'clock, I had a dude from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not going to throw his name out there. Sent me $500.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And that's hard sometimes to process, you know, that somebody can be moved enough to want to be that involved. But again, that goes back to where when I've built such special relationships with some amazing human beings on this platform, then that's what drives me to go, damn it, let's get in the car, let's drive to Charlotte, let's figure out who we can go touch, you know, down there and spend a day and try to change the lives of some people down there and continue to spread it.
Right. And that quite possibly could be an extension of your platform. You could have ambassadors throughout, you know, in different cities and different states, you know.
Kat, you're speaking my language.
Okay.
I mean, look, like-minded people want to roll together.
Yes.
So people who truly have, you know, built relationships with me, that's certainly going to play out. Yeah.
I just want to share my little story of, and I do play it forward. I try to as much as I can, because I like seeing people receive that. I love that. To me, that's the reward for me, you know? And this is a story I shared one time in a podcast or something. I can't remember, but I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so it gets really, really cold here.
It does.
Yeah. And we sometimes have below freezing temperatures, you know? And I remember one day I was driving to work, and it was like, I want to say 30 below, 20 below. It was freezing. You could see the concrete was cold, like just solid white cold. Okay. And I saw this homeless guy, like, in the distance, like cross the street. And I was like, oh my God, nobody should be out walking around. A homeless guy should be in a shelter, like, you know? So as I drove up and I saw him,
of course,
I called him over and I said, hey, come here. And so he came over to my window and he's like, so how can I help you? And I said, I go, do you have gloves? Do you have a coat? He had plastic on. That's all he had was plastic. And my heart went out to him. And I said, look, all I have is gloves. Can I give you my gloves? Can I at least give you my gloves? And he's like, oh, no, ma'am, you're going to need that. It's cold out here. And you know what? My heart, I was in tears because I was like, I'm in a warm car. You're in a plastic bag.
You're living within the elements, and God has blessed you, so therefore you can. And I looked around my car and I was like, let me see what else I can give him. And I packed, unfortunately for him, a healthy lunch. So I had, like, you know, carrots and cucumbers and, you know, healthy. And I gave him my lunch and I was like, here, have some food, take this, take what you can. And it just, like, my heart just broke for this man. And I just hope that he had found some shelter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But to be able to give him my, whatever I had in my car was, like, so fulfilling for me, you know?
Let me play off what you just did and try to describe to people. And I've shared this multiple times on FaceTime calls and things with people. And that is, you felt the emotions in the moment. Now imagine if you had someone else there with you that was watching it. It's hard for them to not feel the same thing. So the analogy that I've always made to people when I do what I do, a lot of times it comes back to sports for me. So imagine watching, I don't care what the sport is, an absolutely amazing game. I want to say it's basketball.
Yep.
So imagine you're at home watching Michael Jordan in Game 6 of the NBA Finals where he wins. You can have a lot of emotions going through that. But if I told you, Kat, you could watch that same game courtside and you were sitting right there in the elements. It's the same thing you're witnessing, but the emotions can be radically different because you feel the energy and the love and the kindness in your heart moving.
Yeah.
And for the people at times that have gone with me to see it physically happen in the moment, because a lot of times it's what you feel in your heart that moves because you're just feet away from it.
Right.
There is a different energy about it when you're right there in the room. Again, I'm not trying to dismiss what people feel watching the video. That's why we do it.
Yep.
It can create such emotions. But yet when you're there, I feel what you just said because I have felt that countless times. And when you can be that selfless in the moment for another human being, it's simply amazing.
Oh no, it is. It is
an
overwhelming feeling. It is. It's absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you what, I will never forget that feeling ever. And I'll never forget his expression and the way he talked to me. It was just he was so thankful. Just so thankful.
The level of gratitude for that point, from that man, and the simplicity of what you did is overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
But that's what you do every day, so that's amazing. That is amazing. And so, how do people help you in this foundation, in this cause?
There's multiple ways. I mean, it's first comes with just following what we do.
Yep.
I've got a website called smileprojectlouisville.com. Go there. We're trying to also figure out ways to where, whether we do it in person or virtually, you can nominate somebody. I don't give a rat's ass if they're not in Louisville. If they need love and kindness, we'll find a way to help them virtually and send it by any means necessary. So, there's a tab in there that says get involved. It's, my 13-year-old son can go fill it out. It's pretty simple. So follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Insta or Facebook. Everything on my webpage too, from all of my platforms, gets uploaded to my webpage pretty much real time. So as we do things, it all goes into there too.
Okay, here's the website. I was just going to scroll through it so people can see what you were talking about, and the get involved is right here, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is the nominate somebody. Right.
So yeah, if there's, and it's really just tell me who you are, how to get a hold of you, who or why we need to go bless and bring smiles and love to.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, their story. If you want to pay it forward, you pay it forward right there.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And then there's also a give. We can't leave that one out. There's a give button.
And I would ask people, even today, if you're all on LinkedIn, go, if your heart's touched, to share it. We went yesterday with did another one yesterday to Joel. Joel's an African American veteran, just had rods and screws placed in his neck, and we're feeding that man because sometimes when you've been tied up in the house for a few weeks and you've had bad neck surgery, we were blessed to again pay it forward, and we're going to feed he and his wife. So
oh, that's awesome.
And I have a lot of times too, because I'm just methodical on how I drop it. I went yesterday to bless a man that's 49 that's dying of brain cancer.
Oh, wow.
And though, look, I never diminish or judge what someone's going through, but again, it really runs the spectrum.
Yeah.
When we go to somebody, and I often tell people, we smile and make others smile, because life can be really hard.
It is. Life can be very tough. Yeah. So here's your LinkedIn if someone wants to connect with you, and they can get more information or just connect, right? Just connect and maybe share a story with you.
And I believe in the power of engagement, of responding to people, because I believe, especially even, if they go as far as sending me a message, that takes time. And I value time. And so if you do, I respond to everything.
Okay.
If you've taken time to share something with me, I want to know that I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Well, you responded to me. So I guess that's...
But, again, that's how relationships start. And that's truly how, when I've engaged with everyone in my audience, that's how I've looked at it. You never know how the dots are going to be connected in life. And that's why it's singularly important to engage with people, because in that moment, it goes back to what I say. It's the power of one. Yes. That one person may need you in that moment.
Yeah. So what, I'm just curious, this is my question to you, Michael. What's the, 5-year plan? What do you see? Where do you see this? Like if you could magically see the future, where do you see this?
I think you briefly touched on it earlier, and that is it's something much bigger than Smile Project Louisville, where we have the opportunity to continue to bless people throughout this country. That might open up throughout the world to where we've created ambassadors. It's creating opportunities to allow people to listen to when God speaks to you.
Yeah.
That you can be, a lot of times people don't believe in the power of one. So I'm hopeful and optimistic. Again, I'm highly patient, but at some point, getting up in front of, as God has blessed me, getting up in front of larger audiences to really try to inspire them to go impact others in their communities.
Absolutely.
So I guess it's just the audience growing, the platform growing, and whatever that represents, it represents. So.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I am here to support you. Woo-hoo. And I hope
I know you are. Honestly, just your badass self reaching out and wanting to take, again, your time to share my message and vision and love for others. Truly, I'm humbled and thankful.
No, and I appreciate the Maddie videos. That's what caught my attention as I saw one of your Maddie videos. And I thought, look at this. This is amazing. It's awesome. And especially during this time, like there's so much bad news. There's, you know what I mean? There's so much.
You know what it is? And if there's one other thing I can share, and the reason why I share videos with my daughter is because people outwardly look at her as having a disability. Okay, yeah, she has an intellectual disability. But the beauty of how her mind operates, and I tell people, is that she finds next level insane happiness on the simplicity of life. She doesn't complicate things. She doesn't have the stress, the anxiety, the fear. She doesn't know a pandemic's going on because all she wants to do is hang with family and do simple things, because that's where she finds intense joy.
That is awesome.
And that's what I try to tell people is find the love, joy, and happiness in your life in just the simple things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that those are great words of advice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We don't have to complicate it because honestly, it's right there.
Yes. I agree. I think that is a great note to end this. And I'm so very thankful to have you on the show. And thank you for sharing your message. And I love the whole foundation. I love what you're doing. And I love watching the videos. And I hope people follow you and tune in as well. Thank you so much, Michael. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate it. And have a great day.
Hey, we love you, Kat. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Stand Out and Grow. Check out all the notes and links at www.standoutandgrow.com. I am so thankful to you for helping this show continue to grow. I want to keep producing content that you want to hear, so please leave me some feedback. I look forward to bringing you more resources and information to help your business stand out and grow. Please follow us on social media and make sure you follow this podcast so you can learn more about helping your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Until next time, you got this. adBidtise helps businesses stand out and grow with affordable advertising options. We will help you make good business decisions so you can save money and not just throw it against the wall to see if it sticks. Get your free strategic advertising analysis today so you can see the opportunities to stand out and grow your business. Visit www.standoutandgrow.com offers page to learn more.